Wretched Radio begins in 3, 2, 1.
Every once in a while, we gotta the religious people. There are 720 churches in Charlotte. I'm sure we can find one where you can stuff your face. Shut up. Quit pointing out the problems. You know what? You're going to hell anyway. I don't even know about you. I got no time for you.
Men will be lovers of self, proud, arrogant, abusive, swollen with conceit. You watch some of today's rock star pastors on their YouTube channels, and you will see every characteristic Paul listed in that text I just read. You will see it all played out in vivid detail on the church stage.
It's time for Wretched Radio with Todd Friel.
Hey, Bill! Stop looking out for me. This is Wretched Radio. Bill O'Reilly, well, bless his heart. He's trying to look out for me, and frankly, I wish he'd stop because... Where do fruit flies come from? Honestly, where do fruit flies come from? We are being overrun in the studio by fruit flies. We leave here on Friday, all is well, come back on Monday, and there's just bugs every place. There's no fruit lying around here. Where do they come from? How are we? Are we in some sort of sci-fi movie? Don't they come usually from fruit or from sugar or something? Telling you, they're everywhere around here. Bill O'Reilly trying to defend the secular version of Christmas. I would like to ask the question, do we really need to defend this secularized version of Christmas? If you, as a Christian, have ever said, it's become such a watered-down affair, and it doesn't even resemble what the holiday is really supposed to be all about, would it kill us if this secularized version went away? Really, if you've ever carped about your credit card bill come January, hey, would it be so terrible if all of a sudden the pressure to buy a lot of stuff disappeared? Would it be so awful if suddenly stores didn't put up snowmen, or they didn't put up some sort of acknowledgement of a holiday without actually acknowledging it being Christmas? Would it be so bad? Why? Oh, Santa Claus. If Santa Claus went away, I might actually enjoy Coca-Cola more. They're the ones who invented Santa Claus, don't you know? Would it be so terrible? But Bill O'Reilly, this is a part of a very large group of people in this country, a lot of evangelicals, who really believe that somehow Christmas and fighting for the Christmas holiday, it's kind of a big battleground. If we lose this, oh no, we're going to lose our country some more. I think the fact that it's under assault would indicate we already are. I think it's kind of the problem here. It's just a symptom of a much deeper problem of what is going on in our country. It is no longer a Christian, and I don't even care how you define that. We are no longer a Christian nation. The secularists have got their gloms in. The strategy is working. They are overrunning historical, traditional, Judeo-Christian thought, and it's starting to reflect itself in society. And we are going to see more and more of this. For years we've been seeing these stories. The kids can't sing a Christmas carol. They can't have a Christmas tree. And so Bill O'Reilly, as he does every single year, goes after the war on Christmas. And Bill O'Reilly is attempting to defend the secular idea of Christmas, somehow removing the Christian part. Hey, this is just a big secular holiday. No, it's not, Bill. This is like saying, let's use Martin Luther King Day. Hey, people who are racist can celebrate Martin Luther King Day. It's okay. It's just a holiday for everybody. You go, no, that's not right. That would be like saying everybody can celebrate 4th of July. Well, no Americans celebrate 4th of July. Well, people who hate this country can still celebrate it with fireworks. No, you're missing the point. 4th of July is celebrating our nation's independence. Well, people who don't like independence, they can still... No, they can't. And you can't rightly celebrate Christmas without being a Christian and acknowledging what it really is. Bill O'Reilly, as he's been doing now for a number of nights, he's in a bit of a kerfuffle with the governor of Rhode Island, Chafee. Well, what's Chafee's first? I don't know.
Lincoln.
Governor Lincoln?
Yeah.
Lincoln?
The old senator? Lincoln.
Yeah. That's his. Lincoln Chafee.
Lincoln Chafee.
I know what the problem is. This guy got beat up a lot as a child. No, I mean, really, we know now what happened to this kid. He's the governor of Rhode Island, and he's not calling it a Christmas tree. He's calling it a holiday tree. Gives everybody 30 minutes for the lighting ceremony because he knew that he'd get squawked at. He did it a little bit later and only called it a holiday tree. And so Bill is in a bit of a fight with him. He's the poster boy this year for the war on Christmas, and Bill O'Reilly is trying to make a distinction, two distinctions really, that I think that you and I, dear Christian, we need to turn to the person next to you and say, eschew. I don't think we need Bill defending us on this one. Number one, we can't separate the secular from the sacred. You can't do it. You cannot really. If Bill O'Reilly is successful in secularizing the Christmas holiday, we will have lost our religion in it, if you will. Second of all, Bill O'Reilly is trying to defend it by calling it a philosophy. That's right. Christianity is a philosophy. Lutheranism, Catholicism, is a religion, but Christianity is a philosophy. And so you back off, Governor Chafee. Jesus was just a philosopher, so it's okay to celebrate the birth of a philosopher. I would like to share with Bill O'Reilly, should he happen to be listening, 9 reasons why Christianity, maybe 10, why Christianity is not a philosophy. Okay, maybe 11 reasons. Number 1, we did some exhaustive research for at least 5 minutes and could not find one dictionary on the internet, and they are all there, that indicates that Christianity is a philosophy. Not one. They all state it's religion. Not the word isn't even used. And they talk about Judaism. It's a religion. Islam. It's a religion. Now, there's denominations within Christendom, but those are religions too. It's just a different stripe of Christian religion. So that would be one reason. But I think as we get into the more detailed reasons, they become much more important. Jesus never claimed to be a philosopher. He claimed to be God. That's why they killed him, Bill. Jesus never said, I'm just pondering things. I got some ideas, want to lay them out there for you, see what you think. I've been pondering lofty ideas. Here they are. No, he never claimed to be a philosopher. He claimed to be God. Furthermore, a philosopher who claims to be God and who isn't is not a good philosopher. Okay, so Bill O'Reilly, to make his argument that Christianity is a philosophy, means Jesus is a philosopher. So that means you somehow now need to separate all of Jesus' teachings about him being God from everything else. That's what the Jesus Seminar does, Bill, and we don't need the Jesus Seminar, and we don't need you defending Christmas, secular version or otherwise. We don't need it, because Jesus claimed to be God. And if a philosopher claimed to be God and wasn't, you wouldn't call him a philosopher, you'd call him a nut. Jesus claimed to be God. He's not a philosopher. Number 2, philosophy seeks truth. Jesus was not a truth seeker. Jesus didn't ponder what might be right. He proclaimed what is absolutely true. Why? Because he himself is the truth. He wasn't like Aristotle. He wasn't like Sophocles, who pondered, how does the world operate? Jesus knows how it operates because, remember point number 1 or 3, whatever it was? He's God. He's not a philosopher wondering how this works best. Jesus is not a philosopher who seeks truth. He is the way, what's the second one? The truth, Bill, and the life. Jesus doesn't teach us what he thinks is right and try to live that way. He is the standard for what is right and true because he is right and true. Number 3 reason Christianity is not a philosophy. Philosophy is the pursuit of rational wisdom. Religion is the pursuit of supernatural wisdom. There's a difference. Typically, philosophy has a form of humanism inside of it. Rational or empiricism, testing it scientifically. No. Christianity is a religion that is in pursuit of supernatural wisdom. In other words, not man's wisdom, God's wisdom. Jesus was about God's wisdom, not human wisdom. Remember the contrast, both Colossians 1 and 2, 1 Corinthians 1 and 2, the contrast between the philosophies of the world and Jesus. It is so stark. It is well worth the read in Colossians 1 and 2. Don't be pursuing worldly philosophy. Jesus is what we pursue, because this is God truth, not man's truth. All of those other systems are busted. They are broken. They are temporal. Which leads us to point number 4. Christianity, while rational, is a belief system. It is not a system per se of testing and scientific research. It's entirely rational. It makes complete sense. But it's a belief system, and I will say this again, recognizing the exposure that this gives us to the atheist, but this is the way our Bible presents it. The rationality, the understanding of Christianity being logical does not come before faith. It happens after faith. Faith first, then everything else makes sense. Then all of a sudden all the parts go click into place. It's faith first, then logic, then rationality, because we're irrational before we are saved. We get saved, then we become progressively more rational. Philosophy, entirely rational. Christianity is a belief system. Number 5 reason that Christianity is not a philosophy. Philosophy has no authority. There's none. One philosopher's position on an issue is as valid as the next guy's. Who's right, Aristotle or Sophocles? Says who? I suppose Aristotle or Sophocles. Who determines what is right and what is wrong? I guess a group of other people. So the majority is right. What if the majority changes? Then suddenly that philosophy becomes wrong? If we believe that Aristotle, he was the right guy. He was so smart. But now, Plato. No, I like Plato. So was suddenly Aristotle wrong? If they have contradictory views on something. Was he ever right? If we've now discovered that he's wrong, who is more valid in their thinking? The answer is neither of them, because you need somebody to authorize their thinking who is a higher source. Christianity is different than philosophy. The Bible claims to be the sole standard of truth. In philosophy, the sole standard of truth is everybody. What are we on? 6, 7, 8, whatever number reason we are on number right now. Why Christianity is not a philosophy. Philosophy changes with the times. Christianity does not. Christianity, same truth today, forever. Philosophy, which way is the wind blowing? What's right today? Who's wrong tomorrow? The answer is, depends. But when it comes to Christianity, it never changes. The whatever reason Christianity is not a philosophy, Bill O'Reilly. Philosophy typically rejects the supernatural. Christianity embraces it. Philosophy is just thinking about stuff, how the world operates outside of any sort of supernatural activity. The Bible loves it. Why? Because God does it. And so they are just at odds with one another. So for Bill O'Reilly to say, well, Christianity is just a philosophy, is to simply mangle the definition of words. If nothing else, he's Mr. Word, isn't he? He always does a word of the day. Plus, he's giving us a tip of the day. Thanks, Bill. Where do you get your authority from? Telling us what vitamins to take, what books to read, what movies to go watch? Says who, Bill? You? The number, whatever reason, philosophy is not Christianity and vice versa. Philosophy is man-made. Christianity is God-inspired. The Bible claims that Christianity does not come from human origin. Holy men of God spake as they were moved by the Holy Spirit. They were inspired by God himself. Philosophy isn't. They're juxtaposed to one another. And finally, another reason, whatever we're on, that Christianity is not the same as philosophy, even though Bill O'Reilly says they're one and the same, which is absolutely an argument I've never heard anybody make ever. Philosophy does not offer forgiveness of sins and everlasting life. Christianity does. There.
Gotta love your timing.
Missed it by that much. So, Bill, thank you. Thank you very much. But you can stop now. Because here is my concern. Should this article or this concept, this positional argument of Bill O'Reilly take any sort of root, he may help us salvage a holly jolly Christmas. But he he will have really assaulted the faith at its core. Well, maybe we'll win a skirmish, but we will lose a war. I don't need a holly jolly Christmas, quite honestly. Actually, you know what I do need, though?
Huh? Oh,
Dude,
no.
it was sitting right there for you. That's right. I need a
How
holly
about
jolly.
yeah.
Getting threatened by Obamacare like that.
Have a Hobby Lobby Christmas, 'cause they might be closed next year. It's a sign of troubled times to fill our hearts with fear. Have a Hobby Lobby Christmas, leave religion far behind. Just say yes to HHS and you will be just fine. Beware Obamacare, you don't have a say. Someone wants an abortion, you will have to pay. Have a Hobby Lobby Christmas, and in case you didn't hear, Christian businesses will all be closed by Christmas next year.
Unless Bill O'Reilly saves us. We don't need saving,
I'm not going to
Bill.
hold my breath.
This is Wretched Radio.
You've been listening to an edited version of Wretched Radio. If you'd like to hear the daily 2-hour broadcast and watch Todd sweat as he does the daily radio show and watch Wretched TV, plus a bunch of other cool stuff, visit wretchedradio.com.